New York City 2025. The skyline glitters with towering skyscrapers, a testament to ambition and power. In the heart of Manhattan, Thornton Plaza stands as a beacon of luxury, its marble floors and crystal chandeliers welcoming the elite. Tonight, the hotel buzzes with anticipation for a high-profile gala, where the city's richest and most influential gather. Among them is Clare, a woman with a secret mission, hiding in plain sight as a temporary housekeeper. She's not here for the glamour. She's here for answers, for justice, and for a boy she lost 5 years ago. Clare moves swiftly through the corridors, her cleaning cart rattling softly. Her dark hair is tied back, her uniform crisp, but her eyes burn with determination. She's 30, strong and unbroken despite a past that would crush most. 5 years ago, her own family betrayed her, stripped her of everything, and took her son. Now, she's back to reclaim her legacy, the Bennett Corporation, and to find her boy, Lucas. She doesn't know his face, only a faint memory of a tiny hand and a birthmark shaped like a crescent moon. Every day she scans the faces of children at Thornton Plaza, hoping, praying. Tonight, though, her focus is on survival. The gala means extra work, and she can't afford mistakes. She pushes open the door to the presidential suite, expecting it to be empty. The room is dim, the scent of sandalwood lingering. She steps inside, adjusting a towel on her cart, when a figure emerges from the bathroom. A man, tall and broad-shouldered, stands in a white bathrobe, his dark hair damp from a shower. Clare freezes, her hand brushing the door handle, which catches the edge of his robe. In a split second, the fabric slips, falling to the floor. Clare gasps, her face flaming red. The man, James Thornton, CEO of Thornton Enterprises, stands there, unbothered but visibly annoyed. His piercing blue eyes lock onto hers, sharp and unyielding. At 35, James is a billionaire who commands respect and fear. He's been single his entire life, his heart guarded by a fortress of ambition and distrust. This is his hotel, his empire, and interruptions like this are unacceptable. "Who are you?" James demands, his voice low and controlled as he casually retrieves the robe and ties it back on. Clare stammers, her heart pounding. "I'm so sorry, sir. I thought the room was empty. I'm housekeeping. It was an accident." She backs toward the door, clutching her cart like a lifeline. James steps closer, his gaze narrowing. "Do you always barge into private suites?" His tone is cold, but there's a flicker of something else. Curiosity, maybe even amusement. Clare straightens, refusing to cower. "Only when the door's unlocked, sir." Her boldness surprises even her. James raises an eyebrow, caught off guard. For a moment, their eyes hold, a silent challenge passing between them. Then, Clare bolts, pushing her cart down the hall, her cheeks still burning. She doesn't see James watching her go, his expression unreadable, a spark igniting in his usually guarded heart. Back in the staff room, Clare catches her breath, replaying the moment. She can't afford to lose this job, not when it's her only way into Thornton Enterprises. She needs access to records, to secrets that might lead her to Lucas and expose the truth about her family's betrayal. 5 years ago, her sister Rachel and stepmother Dorothy orchestrated a night that changed everything. They drugged her, left her in a stranger's bed, and used her pregnancy to disgrace her. Clare gave birth to twins, Lucas and Isabel, but Lucas was taken and she was cast out. Now Isabel, her bright-eyed daughter, is her reason to keep fighting. Clare's thoughts are interrupted by a co-worker who teases her about the gala's VIPs. "You see James Thornton yet? Guy's a legend, runs this city, but they say he's colder than a New York winter." Clare forces a smile, her mind racing. She doesn't care about James Thornton or his empire. She only cares about her son. Yet that moment in the suite lingers, his eyes haunting her. She shakes it off. No distractions. She has a corporation to reclaim and a child to find. Meanwhile, James Thornton stands at the gala, a glass of whiskey in hand, his tailored suit impeccable. The crowd parts for him, but he feels nothing. His life is power, control, and solitude. At 35, he's never known love, never wanted it. His grandfather, Henry Thornton, rules the family with an iron fist, pressuring James to marry Victoria Lawson, the daughter of a key business partner, Richard Lawson. The marriage would secure a merger, but James resists. He trusts no one, not after a lifetime of betrayal and loss. As James scans the room, his thoughts drift to the housekeeper. Her defiance, her quick wit, it's unlike the polished deference he's used to. He doesn't know her name, but her face is etched in his mind. He pushes the thought aside, focusing on the gala, yet somewhere deep a crack forms in his armor, a feeling he can't name. Clare, unaware of the storm she's stirred, prepares for her next move, determined to uncover the truth. This is only the beginning. Clare's return to New York sets off a chain of events that will unravel secrets, ignite passions, and test the limits of love. The city that never sleeps is about to witness a battle for family, justice, and a chance at forever. But for now, Clare and James are strangers, bound by a fleeting moment, unaware that their lives are already entwined by a child, a past, and a destiny neither can escape. The hum of Manhattan fades as Clare Bennett slips into the staff locker room at Thornton Plaza, her heart still racing from the bathrobe incident with James Thornton. She leans against a locker, closing her eyes, trying to steady her breath. The memory of James' piercing gaze lingers, but she pushes it away. There's no room for distractions, not when she's so close to the truth. Clare's mission is clear: reclaim her birthright, the Bennett Corporation, and find her son Lucas, stolen from her 5 years ago. Every step in this hotel, every moment in New York, brings her closer to answers, but also deeper into danger. 5 years ago, Clare's world shattered. She was 25, the golden daughter of James Bennett, founder of Bennett Corporation, a tech empire specializing in cutting-edge software. Her father trusted her, groomed her to lead, but her sister, Rachel Bennett, and stepmother, Dorothy Bennett, had other plans. Rachel, 2 years younger, burned with jealousy, her ambition twisted by resentment. Dorothy, a calculating widow who married James Bennett for wealth, saw Clare as a threat to her control. Together, they orchestrated a betrayal that would haunt Clare forever. It was December 2020, a glittering holiday party at Thornton Plaza. Clare, radiant in a silver gown, sipped champagne, unaware of the trap closing around her. Rachel had invited Daniel Reed, Clare's ex-boyfriend, a charming but weak man desperate for money. Dorothy slipped a drug into Clare's drink, a subtle dose that clouded her mind. Daniel, bought by Rachel's promise of cash, led Clare to a private suite. The night blurred into darkness, and when Clare woke, she was alone, her dress disheveled, her memory a void. Shame and confusion consumed her, but the worst was yet to come. Weeks later, Clare discovered she was pregnant. She confided in her father, hoping for support, but Rachel and Dorothy had already spun their web. They accused Clare of reckless behavior, claiming she disgraced the family. James Bennett, heartbroken and manipulated, believed their lies. He cast Clare out, stripping her of her inheritance. Pregnant and alone, Clare fled New York, her dreams in ruins. In a small town abroad, she gave birth to twins, Lucas and Isabel, their tiny faces her only light in the darkness. But the nightmare wasn't over. Days after the birth, Clare woke to find Lucas gone. A note, unsigned, claimed he was taken by a powerful family, the Thorntons, who believed he was their heir. Clare searched desperately, but with no money or allies she was powerless. She clung to Isabel, vowing to return one day, to find Lucas and make her enemies pay. Now, 5 years later, she's back, stronger, smarter, and fueled by a mother's love. Clare opens her eyes, the locker room coming into focus. She pulls a worn photo from her pocket. Isabel's smiling face, her daughter's bright eyes a mirror of her own. Isabel is safe with a trusted friend tonight, but Clare feels the weight of her absence. She tucks the photo away, steeling herself. Thornton Plaza is her gateway to the truth. She suspects Rachel and Dorothy are behind more than her exile. Perhaps even her father's sudden death last year. The official report said heart failure, but Clare doesn't believe it. She needs proof, and she needs Lucas. Her thoughts are interrupted by a soft knock. A coworker, Jenny, peeks in. "Clare, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." Clare forces a smile. "Just tired, long night." Jenny nods, handing her a schedule. "You're on the family event tomorrow. Thorntons are hosting, so don't mess up." Clare's pulse quickens. The Thorntons. This could be her chance to see Lucas, to confirm if the boy she dreams of is real. The next day, Thornton Plaza is alive with laughter and music, a children's charity event hosted by the Thornton family. Clare moves through the crowd, her uniform blending in, her eyes scanning every child. She adjusts balloons, refills juice cups, her heart pounding with hope and fear. Then she sees him. A boy, about 5, with dark hair and a quiet demeanor, sits alone by a fountain. His small hands clutch a toy car, but his eyes are distant, lost in a world of his own. Clare's breath catches. She steps closer, noticing a crescent moon birthmark on his wrist, identical to Isabel's. It's him, Lucas, her son. Clare's knees weaken, tears threatening to spill. She wants to run to him, to hold him, but she can't, not yet. She doesn't know who took him, why the Thorntons have him, or how deep their power runs. She watches as a woman approaches Lucas, Victoria Lawson, elegant and cold. Victoria kneels, her voice sharp. "Lucas, stop daydreaming. You're embarrassing me." Lucas flinches and Clare's fists clench. She recognizes Victoria, the woman Henry Thornton wants James to marry. If Victoria is close to Lucas, she's a threat. Clare's thoughts race. She needs to get closer to Lucas, to protect him, but she also needs evidence against Rachel and Dorothy. Back at her small apartment that night, she boots up a laptop, hacking into old Bennett Corporation emails, a skill she learned abroad. She finds a thread between Dorothy and an unknown contact, discussing a forged will. The words chill her. "James is out of the way. The company is ours." Clare's blood runs cold. Her father didn't die of heart failure. Rachel and Dorothy manipulated his death, just as they destroyed her life. She saves the emails, her resolve hardening. Rachel and Dorothy think they've won, but they're wrong. Clare will expose them, no matter the cost. She thinks of Lucas, his quiet face, and Isabel, her reason to keep going. But another face flashes in her mind. James Thornton, his intense gaze from the suite. She shakes it off. He's a Thornton, part of the family that took her son. She can't trust him, no matter how her heart races at the memory. Across town, Rachel Bennett sits in a sleek office at Bennett Corporation, her manicured nails tapping a glass desk. Dorothy stands by the window, her face tight with worry. "Clare's back," Dorothy says, her voice low. She's asking questions. Rachel scoffs, tossing her blonde hair. "She's nothing. A disgraced sister with no power. Let her try." But Dorothy's eyes narrow. "Don't underestimate her. She knows too much." Rachel leans back, a cruel smile forming. "Then we'll make sure she disappears, just like last time." The city pulses outside, unaware of the storm brewing. Clare, alone in her apartment, stares at a photo of her father, his kind eyes a painful reminder. She whispers a promise. "I'll make this right, Dad. For you, for Lucas, for Isabel." The path ahead is treacherous, but Clare is no longer the naive girl she was. She's a mother, a fighter, and she's ready to take back everything that was stolen. The morning sun casts golden rays over Manhattan, but inside Thornton Plaza, tension simmers. Clare Bennett moves through the bustling lobby, her housekeeping uniform a disguise for her true purpose. She's no longer just searching for her son, Lucas. She's unraveling a web of deceit that threatens her family and the empire she once called home. The emails she found last night, proof of Rachel and Dorothy's forged will, burn in her mind. But another challenge looms, the powerful Lawson family, and Clare is about to step into their crosshairs. Clare's day begins with a new assignment. She's been promoted from housekeeping to an assistant role in Thornton Enterprises, thanks to her quick thinking during the charity event. James Thornton, the the CEO whose bathrobe she accidentally pulled, personally approved the change. Claire isn't sure why, but she senses his piercing blue eyes watching her, assessing her. She can't afford to trust him, not when his family holds Lucas, yet her heart betrays her with every fleeting glance. For now, she focuses on her goal, using her new position to dig deeper into the Thornton and Bennett family secrets. Her first task is to oversee a presentation for the Brooklyn Heights project, a massive urban development that could redefine New York's skyline. James assigns her to work directly under him, a decision that raises eyebrows among the staff. As Claire enters the boardroom, she feels the weight of skeptical stares. The executives whisper, dismissing her as an outsider, a former housekeeper with no credentials. But Claire stands tall, her voice steady, as she outlines the project's timeline. James watches from the head of the table, his expression unreadable, but a flicker of respect crosses his face. After the meeting, James calls Claire to his office, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. "You handled yourself well," he says, his tone clipped but curious. "Why do you care so much about this project?" Claire hesitates, choosing her words carefully. "I believe in doing things right. This city deserves better than shortcuts." James leans back, studying her. "Most people here chase power or money. What's your angle?" Claire meets his gaze, her heart racing. "Justice," she says simply, then leaves before he can press further. Outside, Claire's mind churns. She knows the Brooklyn Heights project is a potential gold mine, but also a target for corruption. Her late-night hacking has uncovered troubling details. Invoices for substandard materials, linked to Richard Lawson, a key partner in Thornton Enterprises. Richard, a silver-hailed tycoon with a ruthless streak, is pushing for a merger that would tie his family to the Thorntons through his daughter Victoria Lawson. Claire suspects Richard is cutting corners to maximize profits, endangering lives, and she needs proof. Her suspicions deepen when she sees Victoria Lawson at Thornton Plaza, her designer heels clicking as she strides toward Lucas. The 5-year-old boy sits in a quiet corner, his toy car forgotten, his eyes downcast. Victoria, elegant but cold, snaps at him. "Lucas, stop sulking. You're making me look bad." Lucas shrinks, his small frame trembling, and Claire's blood boils. She steps forward, unable to stay silent. "He's just a child," she says, her voice sharp. Victoria turns, her green eyes narrowing. "And you are?" "Oh, right. The housekeeper turned assistant. Stay out of my business." Claire holds her ground, her protective instincts flaring. "Someone needs to look out for him." Victoria's lips curl into a sneer. "That someone isn't you. James will marry me, and Lucas will be my responsibility. Keep your place." She stalks off, leaving Claire shaken but resolute. Lucas glances up, his eyes meeting hers for a fleeting moment, and Claire sees a spark of trust. She kneels, offering a gentle smile. "You're doing great, Lucas. Want to play with that car later?" He nods shyly, and Claire's heart aches. She vows to shield him from Victoria's neglect. That evening, Claire digs deeper into the Lawson connection. At her apartment, she sifts through encrypted files, uncovering a trail of payments from Richard Lawson to a shell company supplying cheap materials for Brooklyn Heights. The materials violate safety codes, risking collapse if used. Worse, she finds emails suggesting Richard is involved in smuggling proprietary software through Thornton Enterprises' overseas branches, a scheme that could ruin James' company. Claire knows exposing this could bring Richard down, but it also means crossing James' family, who rely on the Lawson alliance. Her investigation is interrupted by a call from her friend, Lisa, who watches Isabel. "Claire, Isabel's asking for you. She's drawing pictures of her brother again." Claire smiles, pain and hope mixing. "Tell her I'll be home soon. And Lisa, keep her safe." Hanging up, Claire thinks of Isabel, her daughter's boundless spirit, and Lucas, so quiet and fragile. She needs to act fast, but carefully. Richard and Victoria are dangerous, and Rachel and Dorothy are still a threat. The next day, Claire meets James at a site visit for Brooklyn Heights, the construction cranes looming against the skyline. They walk the grounds, discussing logistics, but the air between them crackles with unspoken tension. James notices her distraction. "You're not just here for the job, are you?" he asks, his voice low. Claire deflects, pointing to a stack of questionable materials. "These don't meet specs. We need to investigate." James frowns, sensing her urgency. "I'll look into it, but Claire, don't play games with me." His words carry a warning, but also a trace of concern. Their conversation is cut short by a commotion. Daniel Reed, Claire's ex-boyfriend, appears, his charming smile masking desperation. "Claire, we need to talk," he says, pulling her aside. Claire tenses, remembering his role in her betrayal 5 years ago. "What do you want, Daniel?" He glances nervously at James, who watches from a distance. "I know you're digging into Lawson. Be careful, they're not what they seem." Claire's eyes narrow. "Why should I trust you?" Daniel hesitates, then whispers, "Because I owe you. I was paid to set you up that night. I'm sorry." Before she can respond, he vanishes into the crowd. Claire's mind reels. Daniel's confession confirms her suspicions, but also stirs old wounds. She catches James staring, his jaw tight, clearly misreading the exchange. "Old friend?" he asks, his tone edged with jealousy. Claire bristles. "None of your business." She walks away, but James follows, grabbing her arm gently. "Claire, I'm trying to understand you." His touch sends a jolt through her, and for a moment she sees not the cold CEO but a man searching for connection. She pulls away, her voice soft but firm. "Then trust me, James. That's all I ask." That night, Claire takes a risk. She sneaks into Thornton Enterprises' records room, using her access to download files on the Lawson deals. Her heart pounds as she hears footsteps, but it's only a security guard, easily distracted by her quick excuse. The files confirm her worst fears. Richard is bypassing regulations, and Victoria knows. Claire saves the evidence, her resolve strengthening. She'll expose the Lawsons, protect Lucas, and reclaim her place at Bennett Corporation. Across town, Victoria meets Richard in a dimly lit office. "Claire is asking questions," Victoria says, her voice icy. Richard smirks, swirling a glass of bourbon. "She's a nobody. If she gets too close, we'll handle her, just like we handled her father." Victoria nods, but her eyes flicker with unease. She wants James, and Claire is a threat to that dream. "Make it quick," she says. Richard chuckles. "Patience, darling. We've played this game before." Meanwhile, Claire visits Lucas at a Thornton family event, bringing Isabella along. The children play, their laughter a balm to Claire's soul. Lucas opens up, showing her his toy car, and Isabel giggles, calling him Big Brother. Claire watches, tears in her eyes, knowing she must fight for them both. James approaches, his presence commanding yet gentle. "They look happy," he says, his voice soft. Claire nods, her guard lowering. "They deserve to be." Their eyes meet, a spark igniting, but Claire pulls back, reminded of her secrets. As the city sleeps, Claire prepares for the battles ahead. Rachel and Dorothy are closing in, the Lawsons are a ticking bomb, and James Thornton is a puzzle she can't solve. Yet with every step, she's closer to Lucas, to justice, and to a truth that could change everything. The stakes are higher than ever, and Claire Bennett is ready to fight. The lights of Manhattan twinkle like stars, but inside Thornton Plaza, a storm is brewing. Claire Bennett stands in the shadows of the grand ballroom, her heart pounding as she prepares for the fight of her life. Tonight is Henry Thornton's 80th birthday, a lavish gala attended by New York's elite. The room sparkles with chandeliers, champagne flows, and whispers of power deals fill the air. But for Claire, this is no celebration, it's a battlefield. She clutches a USB drive, loaded with evidence that could destroy the Lawson family and expose her sister Rachel and stepmother Dorothy. Her goal is clear: reclaim her son Lucas, restore her father's legacy, and unravel the secrets that have haunted her for 5 years. Claire's journey has brought her to this moment. The emails she uncovered, proof of Rachel and Dorothy's forged will, burn in her memory. The files on Richard Lawson's smuggling and fraud, painstakingly gathered, weigh heavy in her hands. She knows the risks. Exposing these truths will shake Thornton Enterprises and Bennett Corporation to their cores. It could cost her everything, her job, her safety, even her chance to be with Luke. But Clare is no longer the broken girl who fled New York. She's a mother, a warrior, and she's ready to strike. Her plan hinges on timing. She's enlisted James Thornton, the CEO whose bathrobe she once pulled, now an uneasy ally. Their relationship is complicated, a mix of trust, tension, and unspoken feelings. James has seen her evidence, the invoices showing Richard Lawson's substandard materials for the Brooklyn Heights project, and emails detailing his smuggling of proprietary software. He's skeptical but intrigued, his sharp mind piecing together the threat to his company. Clare hasn't told him about Lucas, her son in his care, or her true identity as a Bennett heiress. That secret could shatter their fragile partnership. As the gala begins, Clare blends into the crowd, her simple black dress a stark contrast to the glittering gowns. She spots Lucas sitting quietly with a nanny, his crescent moon birthmark visible on his wrist. Her heart aches to hold him, but she forces herself to focus. Nearby, Victoria Lawson, Richard's daughter and James's intended fiancée, glides through the room, her smile masking cruelty. Victoria's neglect has left Lucas anxious and withdrawn, and Clare's blood boils at the thought. Rachel and Dorothy are here too, their confident smirks a challenge. They think they've won, but Clare is about to change the game. The evening progresses with speeches and toasts, Henry Thornton commanding the stage. The old patriarch, stern and imposing, praises James, and hints at a merger with the Lawsons, a union sealed by marriage. James stands beside him, his face a mask, but his eyes find Clare's across the room. She nods subtly. Their signal. It's time. Clare slips into the control room, where a trusted technician, tipped off by her evidence, waits. She hands over the USB drive. "Project it during the main toast," she whispers. He nods, and Clare returns to the ballroom, her pulse racing. As Henry raises his glass, the massive screen behind him flickers. The crowd gasps as Clare's evidence appears, invoices showing Richard Lawson's substandard materials, emails detailing his smuggling operation, and financial records linking him to offshore accounts. Clare steps forward, her voice steady, amplified by a microphone she's grabbed. "Richard Lawson has betrayed Thornton Enterprises. He's endangered lives with faulty materials and smuggled software for profit. This ends tonight." The room erupts in murmurs, faces turning to Richard, who pales, his bourbon glass trembling. Richard recovers quickly, his voice booming. "This is absurd. A disgruntled employee's lies?" But James steps forward, his presence commanding silence. "I reviewed the evidence. It's real. Richard, you're done." Victoria, desperate, lunges toward Clare, her eyes blazing. "You nobody! You think you can ruin us?" Clare stands firm, her gaze unwavering. "I'm not a nobody. I'm Clare Bennett, and I know exactly who you are." The crowd buzzes, recognizing the Bennett name. Rachel and Dorothy, standing nearby, freeze, their faces drained of color. Clare seizes the moment, turning to the screen. "There's more. My sister Rachel and stepmother Dorothy forged my father's will to steal Bennett Corporation. They framed me, exiled me, and thought they could bury the truth." The screen shifts, showing the incriminating emails, proof of their deception. Rachel screams, "Lies!" but security moves in, summoned by James. Dorothy tries to flee, but she's stopped at the door. Chaos erupts, but Clare's voice cuts through. 5 years ago, you took everything from me, my family, my future, my son." Her eyes lock on Lucas, who watches wide-eyed. Victoria, cornered and furious, sees her chance. She grabs the microphone, her voice venomous. "You want the truth? Clare is Lucas's mother." "She's been lying to you all." The room falls silent, all eyes on Clare. James turns to her, shock and betrayal in his gaze. "Is this true?" he asks, his voice barely a whisper. Clare's heart breaks, but she nods, tears glistening. "Lucas is my son. So is Isabel. I didn't tell you because I was afraid you'd take him away." James staggers, the weight of her words sinking in. Henry Thornton, his face a mask of fury, steps forward. You dared infiltrate my family, but Clare meets his gaze unafraid. I came for my son. I stayed for justice. The crowd is riveted, the drama unfolding like a live theater. Before Henry can respond, police enter, led by an officer Clare contacted earlier. Richard and Victoria are handcuffed, Richard shouting about his lawyers, Victoria spitting insults. Rachel is escorted out, her screams echoing, while Dorothy collapses sobbing. The evidence is airtight and their empires are crumbling. But for Clare, the victory is bittersweet. She looks at Lucas, who clutches his toy car confused and scared. She wants to run to him, but James blocks her path, his eyes stormy. We need to talk. Now. In a private room, away from the chaos, Clare and James face off. Why didn't you trust me? James demands, his voice raw. Clare's tears fall. I couldn't risk losing him again. You don't know what it's like to have your child taken. James softens, but his pain is clear. He's my son too, isn't he? Clare nods, the truth laying them bare. That night, 5 years ago, it was you. They drugged me, set us up. I didn't know until I saw Lucas's birthmark. James runs a hand through his hair, overwhelmed. I need time, Clare, but Lucas stays with me. Clare's heart shatters. You can't keep him from me. James's voice is firm but gentle. I'm not, but he's my family too. We figure this out together or we let the courts decide. Clare shakes her head, desperation rising. I won't lose him again. James steps closer, his hand brushing hers. Then don't push me away. The air between them crackles, a mix of anger, pain, and something deeper. Before they can say more, Henry enters, his face grim but softened. I had Lucas tested. You're his mother. I was wrong about you, Clare. Clare exhales, relief flooding her. Henry continues, his voice heavy. I pushed James toward Victoria for business, not love. I see now what family means. Stay, Clare. Be with Lucas. Clare nods, tears streaming, but her eyes turn to James. What about us? She asks, her voice trembling. James doesn't answer, his silence a wall. The gala ends in whispers, the city buzzing with the scandal, but for Clare the fight isn't over. She has Lucas, but James holds her heart, and the future is uncertain. Across town, Rachel sits in a holding cell, her perfect facade shattered. Dorothy, in another, stares blankly, her schemes undone. Richard and Victoria face charges, their wealth no shield, but Clare knows this is only a pause. The truth has set her free, but it has also bound her to James, to Lucas, to a path she never expected. As she leaves Thornton Plaza, the city lights stretch before her, a reminder that her battle for family, for love, is far from won. The dust of the gala scandal settles over Manhattan, but for Clare Bennett, the fight for her family is far from over. The grand ballroom of Thornton Plaza, once a stage for betrayal and revelation, now feels like a distant memory. Rachel and Dorothy face justice for forging her father's will, their schemes exposed. Richard and Victoria Lawson are behind bars, their smuggling and fraud laid bare. Clare has reclaimed her place as the rightful heir to Bennett Corporation, her father's tech empire, now hers to lead. Yet, as she stands in her modest apartment, staring at a photo of Lucas and Isabel, her heart aches. She has her son back, but the path to a true family with James Thornton remains uncertain. Clare's victory at the gala came at a cost. James, the CEO whose life she upended with a bathrobe mishap, now knows the truth. Lucas is their son, conceived in a night of deception 5 years ago. The revelation shook him, his guarded heart torn between betrayal and a longing he can't name. Their last conversation, charged with pain and possibility, left Clare hopeful but wary. James insisted on shared custody, unwilling to lose Lucas, but his silence on their relationship haunts her. She wants more than a legal agreement. She wants a family, a future, and maybe, just maybe, love. The next morning, Clare takes Lucas and Isabel to Central Park, a rare moment of peace. The children chase each other through the grass, their laughter a melody that soothes Clare's soul. Lucas, once quiet and withdrawn, is opening up, his crescent moon birthmark a reminder of their bond. Isabel, ever the spark, tugs at Claire's hand. "Mommy, is Lucas staying with us forever?" Claire kneels, brushing a curl from Isabel's face. "I hope so, sweetheart. We're figuring it out." Lucas overhears, his small face serious. "I don't want Daddy to be alone. He needs us too." Claire's heart twists. Lucas calls James Daddy, a word that carries weight she hadn't anticipated. She realizes the children see what she and James cannot, a family that belongs together. But doubt lingers. Can she trust James, a man tied to the family that took her son? Can he love her, not just as Lucas's mother, but as Clare, the woman who challenged his world? She pushes the thoughts aside, focusing on the children's joy. But their words plant a seed, a hope that refuses to fade. Across town, James sits in his office at Thornton Enterprises, the city's skyline a backdrop to his turmoil. The gala changed everything. Claire's courage, her fierce love for Lucas, cracked the walls around his heart. He replays their moments, the bathrobe incident that sparked their story, their late-night talks at Brooklyn Heights, the way she stood up to his grandfather Henry. He knows she's Lucas's mother, but more than that, she's the woman he can't stop thinking about yet. Fear holds him back. Love, for James, is a risk he's never taken. Henry Thornton, now humbled by Claire's truth, visits James. The old patriarch, once obsessed with mergers and power, speaks softly. "I was wrong about her, James. Claire's family. Don't let pride cost you what I lost, a chance at love." James nods, his jaw tight. He thinks of Lucas, his shy smile, and Isabel, a girl he hasn't met but already feels connected to. He makes a decision, one that will change their lives forever. That afternoon, Claire receives a text from James. "Meet me at the rooftop of Thornton Plaza tonight. Bring the kids." Her stomach flips, unsure if this is a confrontation or something else. She dresses Lucas and Isabel in their best, her hands trembling as she smooths Lucas's hair. Isabel giggles, sensing the excitement. "Is Daddy throwing a party?" Claire smiles, hiding her nerves. "Maybe, sweetie. Let's find out." As they arrive at Thornton Plaza, the elevator climbs to the rooftop, where the city sparkles below. The terrace is transformed, draped in fairy lights, a table set with candles and roses. James stands waiting, his usual suit replaced by a tailored blazer, his blue eyes warm with something new, vulnerability. Lucas runs to him, and James lifts him, ruffling his hair. Isabel tugs Claire forward, whispering, "See, Mommy, Daddy's not alone anymore." James sets Lucas down and approaches Claire, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "Claire, I've spent my life building walls, keeping people out. Then you came, pulling off my bathrobe, challenging everything I thought I knew." The children giggle, and Claire blushes, a smile breaking through her nerves. James continues, his gaze unwavering. "You gave me Lucas, a son I didn't know I had. You showed me what family means. I don't want to lose that, or you." He kneels, pulling a velvet box from his pocket. The crowd, a small group of trusted friends and Henry, gasps. Claire's breath catches as James opens the box, revealing a diamond ring that catches the light. "Claire Bennett, I love you. Not just as Lucas and Isabel's mother, but as the woman who makes me want to be better. Marry me. Let's be a family forever." Lucas and Isabel clap, shouting, "Say yes, Mom." Claire laughs through tears, her heart soaring. She steps forward, taking James's hand. "You drive me crazy, James Thornton, but I love you too. Yes, I'll marry you." The rooftop erupts in cheers, Henry wiping a tear, Lucas and Isabel jumping with joy. James slides the ring onto Claire's finger, then pulls her close, their first kiss sealing a promise under the Manhattan stars. The children join, wrapping their arms around their parents, a family complete at last. Months later, Claire stands in the boardroom of Bennett Corporation, her father's legacy restored. She leads with confidence, launching a new software line that honors his vision. Thornton Enterprises, now free of Lawson's corruption, thrives under James's steady hand. The couple moves to a charming house in Westchester, just outside New York, a haven for Lucas and Isabel. The children fill the home with laughter, their bond unbreakable, their crescent moon birthmarks, a symbol of their shared past. One sunny afternoon, the family gathers in their backyard, a picnic spread on the grass. Lucas races Isabel to a tree, their giggles echoing. Claire leans against James, his arm around her, their wedding bands glinting in the light. "We made it," Claire whispers, her voice soft with wonder. James kisses her forehead, his smile warm. "We did, and we're just getting started." They watch the children play, the city a distant hum, their love a quiet strength that has overcome every obstacle. New York, with its relentless pace, moves on, but for Claire and James, this moment is timeless. The scandals, the betrayals, the secrets, they all led here, to a family forged in fire. Claire thinks of her father, hoping he's watching, proud of the daughter who fought for justice. She thinks of Lucas and Isabel, her heart full, and of James, the man who chose love over fear. The future is theirs, a canvas of hope, painted with laughter, trust, and the promise of forever. As the sun sets, casting a golden glow over the backyard, Lucas and Isabel run to their parents, collapsing in a heap of giggles. Claire and James join them, lying on the grass, the children's chatter a melody of joy. The camera pans up, the New York skyline faint in the distance, a reminder of the city that tested them and the love that triumphed. This is their story, a tale of loss, redemption, and a family made whole. A story that began with a bathrobe and ended with a vow to never let go.